Hey guys, Gecko's here. I know I said I was going to post daily, but I've changed it since I'm going to post Monday through Friday, and I'm going to take the weekends off. And this is Astrid here. She's I'm pretty sure she's an adult, but she's recovering right now because she came down with mouth rot, and I had to take her to the vet, and it cost over like $150. She's like, I've only taken one gecko to the vet ever, and that's her. She's gone twice, once before because she had a bad shed and she was like, her eyes were pulled back and her lips were pulled back. If I have a picture, it's going to show up on the screen, but I don't think I do. And today I'm going to talk about the Enigma syndrome. If you don't know what that is, it's where I'm pretty sure it's a disorder in the morph that causes them to walk in circles, stargazing, missing prey when it's right in front of them, and walks really funny. This is my second gecko I've ever had. Her name is Spot. She has Enigma syndrome, sadly. She tends to walk really funny, and she's just not that good of a hunter. But she has the Enigma syndrome, but I found that, like, some people will, like, to help it, like, to be not stressed and avoid stressful situations for the Enigma syndrome, put it in an isolated cage with either more hides or less hides. It depends. Like, if you're not supplying it with enough hides or too many hides, like I have a lot of hides in all of my cages because I put a lot of geckos in one tank. But as you see, she's really weird. She'll like curl up into a ball, like she's really amazed at the colors on her back. She's almost like she's high all the time. But what I found with this particular gecko, that I would put her in a large tank with numerous geckos. She's in a 55-gallon with 3 other geckos, and I supply them with a large amount of hides with multiple water dishes, and she seems to do just fine because I used to try to isolate her at one time, but she wouldn't eat at all. She would barely drink. It's almost like she got depressed because she was alone. I usually house a lot of my geckos together because I'm afraid they're going to do the same thing as she did. But I have one particular gecko that I will isolate from the rest. Her name is Kiwi, and she is a hot female, meaning that she was supposed to be a male. She was incubated at high temperatures, but she's aggressive. She will attack the other geckos, and I've found that there's numerous bite marks on my other geckos, so I ended up having to separate her and put her in a 10-gallon. So she's going to be isolated from them for a long time because she's highly, highly aggressive. So that's not very good. And if I want to see if she'll do it, if I put her on my shirt, usually she'll always put her head straight up in the air. But she's a very strange gecko. And but what causes, like, geckos with Enigma syndrome, they tend to stargaze, walk in circles, missing food when it's right in front of them. If I have time, or if she's hungry enough, well, actually, never mind. I have them on a very strict feeding schedule because, like, I don't have enough food for them. Like, that may sound mean, but I don't have a lot of money, and the house is being sold, and a lot of crazy stuff is going on, so we don't have enough money. But we do have food for them, but that's all happening. And, sorry. A lot of people found out that with their Enigma syndrome, they have a very, very, very curious, and it's really funny personality, and they wouldn't change their personality for anything in the world. And they're very, very sweet, and she loves to lick. Yes, you do. She loves to lick you. And she's like, some people with the Enigma syndrome, she'll probably do it. they'll walk directly off your hand. See, there she goes. Whoop. And sometimes when she's in the tank, she'll stumble and then she'll fall on her back and get stuck like that. And if most of you don't know, if a gecko is laid on its back, it cannot breathe because their ribs press against their lungs and they can't breathe. And so that's one thing you need to watch out for, not to put too many hides in there where like they can crawl up and get stuck on their back, because she's stupid enough, that seems mean, but she's stupid, that she'll get stuck on her back. One time I put a water dish too deep in there and she fell in it and fell backwards, and thank God I was in the room. She was on her back, her head was underwater, and she was struggling so much. That really scared me. So I put dishes like that deep in there. And she seems to do fine. And, you know, it's funny, the other geckos in there, they tend to her like they're her baby. So I thought that was really, really interesting. So that's it for the Enigma syndrome. If you want to comment or message me directly, my email is khath1 with the little swooshy @ thing, yahoo.com. khath1 yahoo.com. If you want to message me about any questions about my Leos, anything, if you're wondering if your gecko has the Enigma syndrome, it's most common in the Enigma morph, but it's kind of rare, but it's also possible in other morphs. But if you need to message me through there, or my Instagram, which I'm always on, I post daily. It's regal._.geckos, and my other account is regal._.beardies, because I have a bearded dragon now. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I had another bearded dragon before Chip, and her name was Ash, and she sadly passed away because, okay, I know I'm talking, hold on, I'm gonna put it down, she's getting squirmy. If you didn't know this, if you know the breeder Reptiles by Mac, and they're a top supplier to, I'm pretty sure they supply to Petco, but not PetSmart. I don't think they supply to PetSmart. But if you look up Reptiles by Mac abuse, you'll find numerous videos of the corporation PETA. They have an undercover camera and they go in there, and there's so many animals being abused, like bearded dragons. They have like feet getting ready to fall off, with mouth rot. They barely even give them water or feed them, and they have to fight to survive. And it's so sad. And there's like anolos with what do they call it? Impaction, and they don't do anything about it. There's no vets to see them, and they ended up just letting them suffer and die. And they let the ones that are healthy enough, they sell them to sell them to Petco and stuff, and people that buy from them directly, they take the ones that look like they're healthy and survive, and they send them to other people. It's just, it's like, I think something needs to be done. But if you guys want to go check that out, I don't buy from, unless like, sometimes I'll go to Petco for like lights. I just went for a light yesterday because my gecko bearded dragon's light was flashing on and off, the heat light, and I ended up getting that, some duper roaches. And there was a lot of geckos in there with skinny tails, and I think there was one dead in there. It was one day I'm going to go in there with a camera, and I'm going to go and confront I'm going to ask them about that. But sometimes I'll have a weak moment and buy the ones that look like they're not going to survive very long. Like my first gecko, Carmel, I got her from Petco, and she had an eye infection, and she ended up getting her eyes closed and get these big giant clumps of, it almost looked like, you know, those eye booger things you get, and it looked like that, but it was big and giant. And I took her to the vet, and they gave her this eye drops, and that didn't work, but I ended up getting, I don't know if I have it, but I've been doing that for like months and months and months, and I finally got this eye cream to put on there from this person that had the same problem with the bearded dragon. And after about a month, her eyes would open. It was just like, it brought tears to my eyes. After all these years that I've had her, she was blind, and I had to hand feed her. My dad said he told me he doesn't think she's going to survive, but never give up on an animal. She ended up surviving, and she's very, very healthy now. So that's my experience with Petco. But thank you guys for watching. Leave a like down below and comment what you want me to post, and see you guys later.